Hello again. What you're looking at here is an Agoho tree. This tree is common throughout much of the Philippines and actually throughout a lot of Asia, and it's native clear down into Australia, and it's been spread throughout the world. They were found in South America, grow in Florida. So you'll encounter this species and also the genus of tree throughout the world. This is a very large specimen. These I've read typically live to about 40 or 50 years old. I'm not sure how old this particular tree is, but it's very large compared to many of the Agoho trees that I've seen around. Just to kind of give you an idea of how large it is, I'll walk up next to it here. It's easily 2 meters at breast height. You can see it has large buttress roots. Really a beautiful tree. There's several in the area here that are this large. These trees have long, thin, it's actually stems. People actually often confuse them with needles. They confuse these trees with conifer trees, but they're not actually conifer trees. These are actually photosynthetic stems. They look kind of like a horsetail. That's where the Latin name for this tree comes from. But on those stems are the actual leaves of the tree. They're really tiny, just found along those whorls. Very small leaves, and the stems are what are actually there for photosynthesis. These are different from the other pine trees you'll find in the area around Baguio. They're pretty easy to tell apart when you just compare the two, but if you're wanting to see the difference, these have more of a kind of a softer appearance. The needles of the Benguet pine are sharper. They don't have those little whorls around them. And then also the Benguet pine has those needles that you can see where they come out of the branch. They're actually in groups of 3, which you can see here. The Agoho tree is actually a member of the She-oaks. It's the genus Casuarina. These trees are nitrogen fixing, drought resistant. They can resist strong winds well, so they're very typhoon resistant. They were actually brought into parts of Florida to help with erosion purposes, but it became an invasive species there. It's actually considered a noxious weed in Florida. Agoho wood is used for things like poles, tool handles, but it warps and checks very easily, so it's not a real practical wood to use for lumber purposes. It is very valuable wood in terms of firewood, though. It's one of the best firewoods on the planet, actually. In terms of the energy per kilogram, it's one of the highest energy per kilogram woods. Can burn even when it's green, freshly cut can burn. So it's often planted just to make a fuel wood. But here you can see a stump of one of these trees. This tree died and was cut down a few months ago. It has really interesting growth rings where all of these different buttress roots are coming out. In the Philippines, these can grow at a range of elevations. Typically, from my reading, these grow up to about 600 meters in elevation. These ones, though, that I've been filming are actually been growing clear up in Baguio, so closer to 1,400 meters in elevation. But they can be very beautiful trees. They have several uses, so if you want to have kind of the feeling of a pine tree, but you're living at a lower elevation, it's a nice way to do it. So let's plant more of these trees, and thanks for watching, everyone. Have a nice day.